My beloved child, something urgent is being stirred in the unseen realm, and Archangel Michael is pressing this message upon your spirit with a fire that cannot wait. When he says be careful, it's an emergency. Heaven is not trying to frighten you. Heaven is trying to protect you. A veil is being torn. A hidden face is being exposed. And the identity of the one who has been working against you is no longer in the shadows. Archangel Michael stands between you and that danger, holding his sword of truth, whispering, "Open your heart. You must hear this now." For months, maybe even years, you have felt something strange, an uneasy feeling around a certain person. You couldn't explain it, but your spirit sensed it. Their smile felt hollow, their words felt twisted, and every time you stepped into your purpose, something around you would suddenly break, fall apart, or grow silent. This wasn't coincidence. This wasn't your imagination. This was interference. And Archangel Michael has finally revealed the truth. The one who pretended to support you is the one who quietly wished for your downfall. Listen carefully. The reason this message found you is because heaven has decided it is time for you to know what has been hidden. Archangel Michael has watched you fight silent battles. He has seen tears you hid behind strength. The answered prayers you prayed to whispers. And now he says, no more walking blind. The name is being released. But before the revelation comes, you must understand why the exposure is happening now. There is a shift happening in your atmosphere. A transformation. A spiritual elevation. You are stepping into a level of influence, clarity, and divine alignment that this person cannot follow. Their intentions cannot survive in the light you are entering. Their mask cannot remain in the presence of your rising. Heaven will not allow it. Archangel Michael is guarding you fiercely in this very moment. His wings are drawn around you like a shield, and his sword burns with the authority of God. You are not alone, even in what feels like your most vulnerable moment. He whispers, what was meant to harm you will now expose itself before you. Pay attention now. This person thought you were unaware. They thought their subtle comments, their doubts, their delays, their quiet jealousy would go unnoticed. They thought you would keep trusting them, keep confiding in them, keep allowing them into places of your spirit they never deserved to enter. But you are waking up. Archangel Michael is waking you up. You are stepping into a season where hidden motives cannot survive around you, where masks fall off without warning, where truth cuts through every illusion, and the one who wanted to harm you, emotionally, spiritually, or mentally, can no longer hide behind the false kindness they used to disguise their intentions. My dear soul, you need to prepare yourself because the exposure of this name will not come the way you expect. It may come through a sudden conversation, a slip of the tongue, a dream, a message, a shift in their behavior, or a moment where their true heart accidentally reveals itself. Archangel Michael is orchestrating circumstances so you cannot miss the signs this time. Heaven is saying, you will see the truth with your own eyes. But here is the part most people overlook. When a name is revealed, a chapter ends. And when a chapter ends, a new one begins with power, clarity, and divine protection. This exposure is not meant to break you. It is meant to free you. It is meant to deliver you from ties you never should have carried. It is meant to remove spiritual weight that has slowed your destiny. It is meant to close doors that were never meant to stay open. Archangel Michael is reminding you, you are chosen. You are protected. And no weapon formed against you will ever prosper when truth stands beside you. Feel this with your spirit. Something is cracking in the unseen realm. A disguise is melting. A hidden agenda is collapsing. And Archangel Michael is placing you in a position where you will no longer be manipulated, deceived, or silently attacked. You are stronger now. Your discernment is sharper. Your spirit is rising, and the enemy knows it. This is why they became desperate. This is why they tried harder recently to pull you down, confuse you, distract you, or drain you. They sensed your breakthrough coming before you did. They saw your glow before you saw your own reflection. But heaven saw too, and Archangel Michael stepped forward. Now listen closely. The next moments of this message carry the revelation you have been waiting for. Do not drift. Do not lose focus. Something important is about to be spoken over your life. Hold your breath, beloved, because the identity of this person is about to be uncovered. And once it is revealed, you will never fear them again. Before you move forward, let your spirit settle. Something big is about to unfold, and you are standing at the edge of a truth that will change the way you see everything. Before you move an inch, stay with me. What is coming next will shake you in the best way. Heaven is opening the file right now. Type "I receive the revelation" in the comments to seal your spirit for what is about to unfold. Lesson code 1444 has been released. My radiant soul, there is a holy stirring around you right now, a subtle vibration in the atmosphere, because as this message continues, Archangel Michael steps even closer. His presence becomes stronger, clearer, and more intentional. This is the moment where the fog begins to lift, where the hidden threads behind your recent struggles start revealing their shape. Heaven is preparing you not only to hear the truth, but to understand why it matters so deeply. What you are about to feel is not fear, but awakening. You may not realize this yet, but your spirit has already sensed the name that is rising from the shadows. You have felt it in moments where your heart tightened without explanation. You have felt it in memories that came back at strange times, pulling your attention toward certain encounters, certain conversations, certain faces. Your intuition has been whispering, nudging, alerting you gently. But you brushed it aside, because you are a person of pure intention, and you do not expect deception from those you treat with kindness. Archangel Michael says that this is one of your greatest strengths, but also one of the reasons heaven has intervened. You trust deeply. You give generously. You love sincerely. And because of that, you sometimes overlook the silent intentions of those who carry envy or hidden resentment. But this season will not allow those shadows to grow around you any longer. A cleansing is happening, and this cleansing begins with truth. There is a reason this person's identity must be exposed now. You are entering a chapter of destiny where your connections matter. Every person around you must align with your purpose, not pull you away from it. Archangel Michael has seen how this individual, knowingly or unknowingly, has been draining your energy. Each time you felt discouraged without reason, each time you suddenly doubted yourself after speaking to them, each time your excitement faded after sharing your plans with them, that was not coincidence. That was spiritual interference disguised as conversation. Heaven watched it all. Heaven heard words spoken behind your back that you were never meant to hear. Heaven saw facial expressions they tried to hide, the rolling eyes, the mocking tone, the competitiveness they cloaked under fake support. And now, heaven says enough. This person's intentions have crossed a spiritual line. They have touched what is sacred to God, your purpose, your peace, and your destiny. They have used access to your life not to lift you, but to monitor you, critique you, compare themselves to you, and silently hope you would stumble so they could feel superior. Yet they smiled in your face as if nothing was wrong. But the veil is tearing now. The false harmony is breaking. The truth is rising like a storm that can no longer be held back. Archangel Michael shows a vision of a mask falling from a face. It hits the ground, shattering into pieces that cannot be repaired. This is symbolic of what is happening in your life. Their disguise is ending. Even if they try to pretend, even if they try to hide their feelings, even if they attempt to maintain the illusion, you will notice the shift. Their tone will change. Their eyes will reveal more than their words. Their behavior will slip. Their envy will leak through cracks they can no longer control. And the most powerful part, you will not be hurt by this revelation. You will be empowered by it. Because Archangel Michael is not exposing this person to create chaos. He is exposing them to bring peace. Your spirit has been carrying weight you did not understand. The moment their identity becomes clear, that weight lifts. It is like a room suddenly filled with light. You see everything differently. You breathe differently. You move differently. Now listen closely, for this is where heaven asks you to be alert. The person who has wanted to hold you back is not always the loud one, the obvious one, the openly aggressive one. Sometimes, it is the one who has been closest to your dreams, the one who watches your every move, the one who subtly dismisses your ideas, the one who suddenly grows distant when things go well for you, the one who clings to your energy when they feel lost but disappears when you need support. Archangel Michael says, this name is familiar. This name is not a stranger. This is someone who has benefited from your light but never wanted to see you shine brighter than them. Your spirit felt that line. Your heart reacted for a reason. Something turned inside you because your intuition is confirming what heaven is saying. Now breathe slowly. Let clarity enter. Let the truth prepare you without shocking you. Because the moment the name comes to the surface, you will see how everything suddenly makes sense. Moments from your past will click together. Confusion will clear. Patterns will reveal themselves. And you will say, how did I not see this before? But do not blame yourself. Kind hearts often overlook the darkness in others because they do not expect it. That is why Archangel Michael steps in, to protect what is pure within you. There is still more to be revealed, and the next unveiling will bring you face to face with the moment your spirit first sensed this person's true nature. That memory is important, and you will understand why very soon. Before you move ahead, hold steady. What unfolds next will connect every missing piece, and you will not want to miss that moment of clarity. Type "I walk in divine clarity" in the comments if this message is stirring your spirit. Blessing code 1919 has just been activated. Beloved one, as this revelation deepens, Archangel Michael draws nearer with a force that feels almost electric around your spirit. You may feel a slight heaviness in your chest or a quiet intensity rising within you, because this is the part where hidden truth begins shaping itself into clarity. Heaven has watched you walk through moments where your peace felt stolen, where your joy felt dimmed, where your progress seemed to pause for reasons you could not explain. None of that was random. Every moment of confusion was connected to a person whose intentions were never aligned with your destiny. And now, the light of heaven is sweeping through your life like a holy wind, clearing everything that no longer belongs. Archangel Michael says, this is the moment where you begin to see the spiritual fingerprints of the one who wanted to harm you. Their words, their behaviors, their subtle actions begin lining up in your memory, painting a picture you had once overlooked. They never attacked you directly. They never showed their intentions openly. But they left clues. They left energy behind. They left small cracks in your peace, cracks subtle enough for you to dismiss, yet deep enough for heaven to notice. This is the truth. Their desire to hold you back was not born from hatred. It was born from insecurity. Your light made them uncomfortable. Your strength made them nervous. Your growth reminded them of everything they had not become. And instead of being inspired by you, They chose quiet opposition. They spoke to you kindly, but spoke of you unkindly. They celebrated you publicly, but resented you privately. They stood beside you, but never truly stood with you. Archangel Michael has seen every hidden intention. He knows the thoughts this person tried to keep concealed. He knows the envy they felt when you succeeded. He knows the doubts they tried to plant in your mind with carefully chosen words disguised as concern. He knows the energy they projected when you walked into the room, pretending to be proud of you while silently shrinking inside. Your spirit reacted every time your calling became clearer. Your discomfort grew every time heaven opened another door for you. This is why the exposure must happen now. Heaven is accelerating your path. You are stepping into moments where your influence will grow, your voice will strengthen, your blessings will multiply. The higher your elevation, the more dangerous it becomes to keep the wrong people close. This is not about punishment. This is about protection. And now, Archangel Michael shows a vision, a memory rising to the surface of your spirit. Think back to a moment when something felt off but you could not understand why. A moment when a comment cut you deeper than you expected. A moment when your excitement was met with a strange silence. A moment when their reaction did not match your joy. That moment with the first signal, your soul recognized what your mind could not. This person has been uneasy with your potential for a long time. They have watched your growth with a tightness in their chest they pretended not to feel. They have listened to your dreams while silently fearing your future. They wanted your light, but not your rise. They wanted your presence, but not your power. And yet, here is the divine truth. No one can dim what heaven has chosen to ignite. Archangel Michael has not allowed their intentions to harm your destiny. Every plan they formed against you dissolved before it could reach you. Every negative word they released about you broke in the air before it found your spirit. Every attempt to derail your purpose was intercepted by divine protection you never even knew was surrounding you. You are not vulnerable. You are not exposed. You are not unguarded. You are covered by one of heaven's fiercest warriors. But now, the exposure is necessary so that you can walk into your next chapter without confusion or misplaced trust. Heaven cannot bless what is surrounded by hidden sabotage. Heaven cannot elevate what is connected to silent resentment. Heaven cannot pour new oil into a space where someone is quietly draining your energy. There is something transformative about knowing the truth. It does not break you. It frees you. It positions you to rise with newfound clarity. It allows you to reclaim pieces of yourself you did not know were being taken. It awakens your discernment, sharpening it like a blade forged in fire. And beloved, you are about to walk in a level of awareness that will not allow deception to survive near you ever again. Your intuition is being activated. Your spiritual eyes are opening. Your heart is being fortified. You are stepping into a version of yourself that is more powerful, more aware, and more spiritually aligned than ever before. Before the next revelation unfolds, steady your spirit. What comes next will challenge the way you have viewed certain relationships, but it will also liberate you. You are not being prepared for loss. You are being prepared for breakthrough. Stay with this message, because the next unfolding will bring the moment where the identity becomes unmistakably clear, and you will understand why heaven chose to reveal it now. Now take a breath, and before we continue deeper, help this message reach every soul that needs this warning. Like this video, comment your confirmation, share it with someone who needs protection, and subscribe so you never miss what heaven is releasing for you. Type "I stand in divine truth" in the comments to claim your awakening. Blessing code 2288 is now active. Beloved, since this message is unfolding like a prophetic shield over your life, Let me speak directly to those who feel the weight of this divine warning. When you support this mission, you are not giving to a platform. You are sowing into a movement that rescues souls from spiritual traps just like the one being revealed here. This is the kind of seed that heaven multiplies, the kind that opens doors and waters destinies. And I hear this in my spirit clearly. I am inviting you to stand with us as we shine light into the hidden places. Just as Archangel Michael exposes the one who wished to harm you, your support becomes a flame that carries truth into the lives of thousands. Every offering through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description becomes a prophetic act, unlocking protection and clarity over your own path. To those who give, may rivers of divine favor rush toward you, and may your life testify of sudden breakthroughs. Step into this moment and release your seed with authority. Would you like me to continue with part 4? Chosen Soul. As this divine message deepens, Archangel Michael steps forward with a presence so steady, so commanding, that your spirit cannot help but feel the shift. This is where the atmosphere around you begins to rearrange itself. This is the point where everything that was unclear starts forming lines, connections, and meaning. Heaven is preparing you for the moment when the name in hiding begins rising to the surface. But before that revelation settles into your awareness, you must understand something far more important: the spiritual pattern behind this person's intentions. You see, harmful intentions rarely appear suddenly. They grow quietly, slowly, forming like a shadow behind a person's smile. Sometimes, they even grow without the person fully realizing what they are becoming. This is why you missed the signs. This is why you continued to trust. This is why you kept sharing your dreams, your hopes, your small victories. You believed their heart matched yours. You believed their energy aligned with yours. But Archangel Michael reveals that something in their spirit shifted long before you ever felt disruption. There came a moment, perhaps months or even years ago, when they saw something in you they did not see in themselves. A spark, a calling, a grace, a destiny. That moment created a fracture inside them, a quiet insecurity that grew roots. And while they continued walking beside you, those roots fed a quiet resentment. They began comparing their life to yours. They watched your growth through the lens of their own inner pain. And instead of healing their brokenness, they projected it onto you. Their actions were subtle. A dismissive tone here, a forced smile there, a joke that did not feel like a joke. A small, carefully placed comment meant to shake your confidence. You brushed it off because your heart does not naturally assume harm. But your spirit noticed. Your intuition flinched. The energy around them began to feel different, heavier, inconsistent. That was Archangel Michael tugging at your awareness, urging you to see beyond the surface. But even then, you continued to love them. You continued to trust. You continued to hope they would rise with you. That is what makes your soul so rare. But that is also why heaven had to intervene. Not to punish them, but to protect you from carrying a burden that was never meant for your shoulders. Archangel Michael reveals another truth. This person was not only uncomfortable with your growth, but they were afraid of your awakening. They sensed the spiritual power rising inside you long before you sensed it yourself. They saw glimpses of the person you were becoming, and that frightened them. Because the more you awaken, the less control they had. The more you ascended, the more their influence faded. The more you walk in confidence, the more their insecurities tightened. This is why their energy toward you became inconsistent. Some days they acted overly supportive, almost excessively kind, as if trying to mask their discomfort. Other days they pulled away emotionally, leaving you confused. They would disappear at moments when you needed them most, only to return when they needed something from you. Their behavior wasn't random. It was reactive. They were reacting to the power you carry, the favor on your life, the divine calling they could not replicate. And now, beloved, here is where heaven's protection becomes visible. Archangel Michael has been blocking their negative intentions long before you knew they existed. He has been silencing their harmful words before they reached your spirit. He has been dismantling their subtle attempts to discourage you, dismantling every spiritual dart they released out of jealousy, dismantling every attempt to cloud your mind with doubt. You have been protected in ways you never saw, guarded in ways you never realized. But protection is not the end of this story. Exposure is. Not to embarrass them, but to free you. Not to punish them, but to realign your path. Not to bring chaos, but to bring clarity. Heaven cannot allow someone with hidden resentment to accompany you into your next elevation. The path ahead of you is too important, too sacred, too spiritually charged to be shared with someone who secretly fears your greatness. Your destiny is accelerating. Your breakthroughs are aligning. Your opportunities are opening. And the presence of this person around you would only create spiritual turbulence. That is why their unmasking is happening now. Archangel Michael is clearing your path. He is removing the spiritual fog around you. He is sharpening your discernment. He is guiding you toward the truth with gentle yet undeniable force. And now, beloved, something powerful begins to rise. You may notice that as you listen to this message, certain faces pass through your mind. Certain memories resurface. Certain conversations suddenly feel significant. That is not coincidence. That is revelation. That is Archangel Michael aligning your spirit with the truth. The name will not appear in confusion. It will appear in clarity. It will come through remembrance, through intuition, through a moment of recognition your soul can't ignore. Do not rush this moment. Let it build. Let your awareness expand. The one who wished harm upon you is about to step out of the shadows, not physically, but spiritually. Their identity will no longer be hidden. Their intentions will no longer blend into the background of your life. You will see them for who they truly are. And once you do, release will follow instantly. Before you continue, remain still for a moment. What is coming next carries a depth of truth that will connect every thread, and you do not want to miss the moment it clicks into place. Type "I welcome divine exposure" in the comments if your spirit is awakening. Blessing code 3003 is released. Sacred Heart. As this message unfolds further, Archangel Michael stands behind you with a calm but unwavering authority, and the spiritual atmosphere begins tightening in focus. This is the moment where the threads of truth begin weaving into a single, undeniable revelation. You may feel a subtle heaviness around your chest or an unusual awareness rising in your mind, because your spirit knows that something important is approaching. You are not just hearing words. You are being prepared. You are being aligned. You are being positioned to recognize the very person whose hidden intentions have touched your life in ways you did not yet understand. Before the identity becomes clear, heaven wants you to see the deeper pattern that made you vulnerable to this energy in the first place. Not because you are weak, but because you are pure-hearted. You carry a softness that many do not possess. You see good where others see flaws. You forgive where others would walk away. You stay loyal long after loyalty had been withheld from you. And these qualities, though beautiful, created space for this person to remain close even when they no longer belong near your spirit. There is a moment Archangel Michael shows now, a time in your life when you opened your heart widely, trusting this person with stories, visions, and dreams that meant everything to you. You believed you were sharing joy. They believed they were losing ground. You believed you were building connection. They believed they were falling behind. Your openness became a mirror that revealed their insecurities. Your light awakened their shadows. Your growth exposed what they had not healed. This is not your fault. It is simply a truth that your soul outgrew their comfort zone. And the deeper truth is this: they did not resent you because you did something wrong. They resented you because your existence reminded them of what they were afraid they could never achieve. That silent frustration became the seed of their harmful intention. You may remember a time when they pulled away without explanation. You may remember a moment where their encouragement felt strangely hollow. You may recall a situation where your good news was met with tension, or even disguised disappointment. Those fragments were not emotional imagination. They were spiritual hints. Heaven was whispering then, just as it is speaking loudly now. Archangel Michael has watched every moment of internal battle you faced because of this person. You wondered what you did wrong. You wondered why they shifted. You wondered why their presence no longer felt peaceful. You wondered why conversations with them left you emptier than before. But beloved, the truth is not rooted in your mistakes. It is rooted in their inability to celebrate your destiny. Heaven reveals something deeper still. This person did not simply want to harm you out of jealousy. They wanted to slow you down so they could catch up. They did not want you to fall completely. They wanted you to dim, just enough for them to feel equal again. That is why their sabotage was subtle, not aggressive. That is why their actions were passive, not explosive. Their goal was not your destruction. Their goal was your delay. But heaven does not permit delays in the life of someone chosen. And Archangel Michael does not sit silent when a divine destiny is tampered with. Your breakthroughs were meant to unfold sooner. Your elevation was designed to happen faster. But the emotional and spiritual weight placed on you by this person created hesitation, self-doubt, and confusion. Heaven saw this interference and said, "Enough." Now the acceleration begins again. Now the blockages are removed. Now your path is being restored. As Archangel Michael moves his sword, he cuts spiritual cords that were draining you without your knowledge. He cuts attachments that formed through conversation, history, shared experiences, or emotional dependence. He cuts every invisible line that connected your energy to theirs. This spiritual clearing is why you may begin feeling lighter, clearer, or more awake as this message continues. Your spirit is stepping out of a fog it did not know it was living in. And once the fog lifts, truth becomes impossible to ignore. You will begin seeing this person's behavior in a new light. You will interpret their actions differently. You will understand the meaning behind their tone, their comments, their distance, their sudden shifts. Archangel Michael says, "You are already closer to the revelation than you think." Your spirit hath been circling around their identity. Your dreams may have hinted. Your intuition may have whispered. Your emotions may have reacted. But now comes the moment where clarity becomes undeniable. Before the name is fully revealed, heaven needs you to remember this. Not everyone who walks with you walks in your direction. Not everyone who supports you supports your growth. Not everyone who smiles with you smiles for your breakthrough. You are entering a season where connection must be intentional, not familiar. The person who wishes to harm you is someone whose access expires here. And the moment their identity becomes clear, the spiritual block on your elevation breaks permanently. Archangel Michael is preparing your heart for that moment. He is ensuring you do not receive the revelation with pain, but with empowerment. This exposure is the final release before your life shifts dramatically. Stay close now, because the next rise of truth will bring you face to face with the moment heaven first alerted your spirit about this person, and you will finally understand why everything is unfolding now. Type "I embrace heaven's revealing light" in the comments to align with this message. Blessing code 3921 is being released. Beloved child of light, as this message moves deeper into the unveiling, Archangel Michael stands firmly at your right side, and the atmosphere around your spirit sharpens with divine precision. This is not a moment of fear. It is a moment of awakening. A moment where the shadows that once lingered behind someone's behavior begin revealing their true shape. You may feel a strange calm settling over you, or an unusual clarity beginning to form in your awareness, because heaven is preparing you to recognize truth without hesitation. What once felt confusing is about to make absolute sense. Archangel Michael now brings your memory to a very specific place. Think back to a time when you felt strangely uncomfortable after interacting with this person. You could not pinpoint why. Nothing dramatic happened. Nothing visibly harmful occurred. Yet your spirit walked away feeling unsettled, as though something invisible had touched your peace. That moment was not random. That was the very first divine alert. That was the moment heaven whispered, "Pay attention." You see, your spirit is more intelligent than your emotions. It senses what your heart refuses to believe and what your mind struggles to understand. Long before betrayal becomes action, energy becomes indication. This is why your intuition reacted. This is why a certain memory keeps resurfacing as you listen to this message. That moment was the beginning of your awakening, and Archangel Michael is bringing it forward so you can see everything clearly. Heaven reveals that in that early moment, the person who wished to harm you showed their true intention through a subtle crack in their behavior. It may have been a strange look, a shift in tone, an oddly timed silence, or a reaction that felt out of place. Small, almost forgettable, but your spirit noticed. That was the moment the disguise slipped. That was the moment the truth peeked through. That was the moment heaven marked as the beginning of exposure. But because of your heart, you gave them the benefit of the doubt. You forgave without confrontation. You rationalized the discomfort away. You said, "Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe they are just tired." This is what makes your soul radiant, but it also allowed this person to continue hiding behind kindness. They believed they could mask their true motives indefinitely. They believed you would never awaken. They believed their intentions would remain buried beneath polite words and familiar history. But Archangel Michael never sleeps on the matters of your destiny. You watched every moment they withdrew their support while pretending to cheer you on. You watched every time they subtly questioned your dreams to shrink your confidence. You watched every time they celebrated your success with their mouth but mourned it in their heart. You watched every time they planted small doubts, making you second-guess the very things heaven placed inside you. You have been walking with someone who mirrors love but carries envy. Someone who embraces you with their arms but not their spirit. Someone who benefits from your light but resents the way it reveals their shadows. And heaven says that your awakening has arrived. Archangel Michael shows you now the deeper reason this revelation is coming at this precise moment. Your spirit is entering a phase of acceleration. The doors opening for you in the coming weeks and months require emotional clarity, spiritual sharpness, and divine alignment. You cannot carry dead weight into your elevation. You cannot bring disguised opposition into your breakthrough. And you cannot allow someone who quietly wishes for your delay to walk into a season where heaven intends to accelerate everything concerning you. This revelation is not punishment. It is preparation. It is cleansing. It is divine repositioning. And while the truth may feel heavy, Archangel Michael reassures you that this person's power over your emotions, energy, and destiny ends the moment you recognize their identity. Awareness breaks attachment. Truth breaks deception. Light breaks the grip of silent sabotage. Now comes a powerful spiritual shift. You are beginning to see them differently. Their patterns are becoming clearer. Their reactions are making sense. The inconsistencies in your relationship feel less confusing. Their distance no longer surprises you. Their lack of genuine celebration no longer catches you off guard. Your spirit is piecing together what your heart once protected. And heaven is watching with pride, because your awakening is not rooted in anger. It is rooted in clarity. It is rooted in maturity. It is rooted in divine timing. Archangel Michael whispers to you now, you were never meant to carry this person into your next chapter. Their season in your life had an expiration date, and that date has arrived. Your influence ends now. Your spiritual access ends now. Their emotional pull ends now. You are stepping into the light with new eyes, and once you see truth clearly, you never return to blindness again. This is the stage of revelation where your spirit begins preparing itself for the name. Heaven never reveals identity until the heart is strong enough to handle what comes after. You are now in the final stages of readiness. Your clarity is rising. Your strength is awakening. Your discernment is igniting. The next part of this message will bring you to the threshold of the name itself, the moment where you can no longer deny what heaven has been trying to show you. Hold steady and stay with me. What comes next will bring the final connection between your intuition and the reality of who this person truly is. You will want to hear this with your full attention. Type "My spirit is awakened" in the comments to declare readiness. Lesson code 4114 has been released. Beloved one of divine truth, as you step into this next unfolding, Archangel Michael stands before you with a presence so commanding that even the unseen realms fall silent. This is the moment where revelation tightens around your spirit like a circle of light. The energy around you may feel strangely amplified right now. Your thoughts may be more focused. Your emotions may feel more alert. Nothing about this is accidental. What you are experiencing is spiritual alignment, your inner world preparing to receive the final clarity heaven has been guiding you toward. For so long, you carried confusion about this person. For so long, you felt something was off but could not explain it. For so long, you tried to convince yourself that you were imagining things, that your intuition was mistaken, that your emotions were simply reacting to temporary circumstances. But heaven is wiping away those doubts now. You were not imagining anything. You were not misreading the signs. You were discerning what your heart wasn't ready to accept. Archangel Michael reveals that this person's intentions became harmful the moment they realized they could not control your growth. At first, they cherished your light because it inspired them. But as your spirit expanded, as your confidence strengthened, as your path began opening, something inside them cracked. They began to feel overshadowed. They began to measure their worth against your progress. They began to believe your rise somehow meant their fall. And instead of healing their insecurity, they nurtured it. This insecurity grew into silent resentment. And resentment, when hidden, becomes dangerous. Not because it acts loudly, but because it acts quietly. Quiet resentment disguises itself beneath smiles and familiar conversations. Quiet resentment hides behind supportive words spoken without supportive intention. Quiet resentment shows up as subtle emotional withdrawal, sudden coldness, or inconsistency that cannot be explained logically. Your spirit recognized these shifts long before your mind did. That is why you felt tension in their presence. That is why you sensed heaviness after speaking with them. That is why you walked away from interactions feeling drained rather than uplifted. Energy never lies. and Archangel Michael has been showing you these signs over and over, waiting for the moment you would finally see them clearly. Heaven now brings your awareness to a turning point. There was a moment, a specific, unforgettable moment, when this person's true intentions almost slipped out completely. You may have felt their tone shift into irritation. You may have heard a comment that felt strangely sharp. You may have sensed a flicker of envy in their eyes. You may have noticed their sudden silence when you announced good news. That moment was exposure in its earliest form. Heaven was revealing their heart through a crack in their mask. But you, in your kindness, chose to overlook it. You tried to understand their perspective. You tried to extend grace. You tried to believe the best. This is not a mistake. This is your nature. Your spirit has always led with compassion. That compassion is beautiful, but it is also why Archangel Michael must intervene when your heart refuses to protect itself. You must understand something vital. This person's desire to harm you was never about destroying your life. It was about disrupting your alignment. They wanted to confuse your path, cloud your confidence, and create emotional noise around your decisions. They wanted you to depend on their approval. They wanted to remain significant by keeping you slightly unsure of yourself. Heaven cannot allow such influence to remain near you. Not in this season. Not when your elevation is so close. Archangel Michael is cutting through every illusion now. He is removing the emotional filter that once softened your perception. He is sharpening your awareness so you can finally see patterns you once ignored. And the closer you get to the revelation, the more your spirit will begin identifying the signs. Certain memories may flash through your mind. Certain names may rise unexpected. Certain interactions may replay themselves with new clarity. This is not overthinking. This is divine recognition. Heaven is showing you the truth piece by piece, preparing your heart to fully receive the name without shock, fear, or confusion. You are being equipped, strengthened, awakened. Archangel Michael speaks firmly now. You have given this person more time, more trust, and more emotional access than their intentions deserved. And because your heart is pure, Heaven will not allow you to walk blind into a destiny filled with blessings while someone with harmful motives walks beside you. This next chapter of your life is too important. Your calling is too precious. Your spiritual sensitivity is too valuable. Your breakthroughs require clean surroundings and aligned relationships. The one who secretly resented you cannot follow you into what heaven is preparing. Your season ends now. Your influence ends now. Their hidden intentions have run their course, and heaven is pulling back the curtain completely. You are now standing at the edge of full revelation. The next unfolding will be the closest you have come to seeing the name clearly. And once you see it, you will understand everything, why you felt drained, why you felt uneasy, why your spirit reacted even when your mind could not explain why. This is not a moment of fear. This is a moment of truth. And truth never harms the one who walks in divine protection. Stay with this message. The next unveiling will bring the sharpest insight yet, and the clarity will be undeniable. You will feel everything align. Type "I accept heaven's clarity" in the comments to seal this awakening. Blessing code 5255 has been released. Beloved soul walking under heaven's watch, as you enter this sacred unfolding, Archangel Michael positions himself at the threshold of truth, his sword drawn not in anger, but in revelation. The air around your spirit shifts once again, becoming sharper, clearer, almost crystalline, as though heaven is removing the last veil that kept you from fully seeing what has been happening around you. This is the moment where awareness transforms into recognition. This is where the identity of the one who wished harm upon you begins narrowing into unmistakable clarity. Archangel Michael shows you now a powerful vision, a path with two figures walking beside you. One is filled with genuine light, the other carries a flicker of shadow behind their smile. For the longest time, you could not tell which was which because the shadowed one mastered the art of blending into familiarity. They mimic support. They copied affection. They reflected enthusiasm. But heaven always knew which one held true love for you and which one held quiet resentment. This revelation arrives now because heaven is preparing you for elevation. The doors opening before you require purity around you. Every connection must be aligned. Every presence must be trustworthy. Every voice must be sincere. The person whose intentions were hidden does not have permission to follow you into the chapter heaven is unlocking. Archangel Michael is ensuring that anything disguised as friendship, but fueled by envy, is exposed before those new blessings begin to arrive. Think carefully, beloved. There is someone whose behavior has shifted more noticeably than you realized. Someone who, at times, seems present but energetically distant. Someone who makes subtle comments that feel coated with doubt. Someone who is overly curious about your progress, not because they want to celebrate you, but because they want to measure how close you are to surpassing them. Their interest in your life is not admiration. It is surveillance. There was a moment when you shared something precious with them, an idea, a dream, a breakthrough, and instead of encouragement, you felt the atmosphere drop. You felt tension rise. You felt something in their presence become heavy, almost unspoken. That moment was heaven alerting you that their heart did not match their words. You may have brushed it aside then, but your spirit remembers it now because Archangel Michael is reconnecting the threads of truth. You must understand the deeper meaning of all of this. This person once felt equal to you. They once believed they could grow with you. But when you began rising spiritually, emotionally, and energetically, they felt themselves falling behind. Their admiration turned into comparison. Their comparison turned into insecurity. Their insecurity turned into resentment. And resentment, when kept hidden, becomes the birthplace of harmful intentions. Not physical harm, not dramatic betrayal, but emotional sabotage, spiritual disruption, and energetic interference. This is why you sometimes felt drained after being around them. This is why conversations felt heavier even when the words were light. This is why your spirit tightened even when your mind insisted everything was fine. You were not imagining anything. You were discerning what heaven was revealing. Archangel Michael whispers now with authority, you have outgrown the season where this person could hide behind politeness. Their true intentions cannot blend in anymore. Their mask cannot remain intact. Heaven has waited patiently for the right moment to unveil the truth, and that moment is now. You may begin noticing something unusual after hearing this message. You might feel sudden clarity when their name crosses your mind. You might recall specific interactions that suddenly feel different. You might realize how often they doubted you disguised as advice, or how often your victories made them strangely quiet. This is not coincidence. This is spiritual recognition. It is your inner world meeting heaven's revelation. But beloved, do not fear exposure. Exposure does not harm the chosen. Exposure frees the chosen. Exposure disconnects you from what was quietly draining your destiny. Exposure allows heaven to accelerate everything that was delayed. The reason this identity has not appeared fully yet is because heaven needed your spirit strong enough to receive it without heartbreak, confusion, or guilt. You are now in that place. You are ready. You are steady. You are spiritually aligned. In the next unfolding, the final pieces of this puzzle will lock into place. The name will no longer hide behind uncertainty. Everything will make sense. Every moment of unease, every shift in their behavior, every strange encounter will align into a single, undeniable truth. Retention reminder, stay with this message now. What comes next is the sharpest wave of revelation, and you will feel the identity rise with absolute clarity. Now pause, take a breath, and help this prophetic message reach more souls who need protection. Like, comment, share, hype this video, and subscribe so heaven's warnings and blessings always reach you on time. Type "I am surrounded by divine light" in the comments to seal this moment. Blessing code 6611 has now been released. Beloved, as this truth sharpens around your spirit, hear this clearly. When you support this mission, you are not just giving. You are activating a divine ripple that rescues others from hidden harm, just like the one being exposed in your life. God uses voices, messages, and platforms to reach souls standing on the edge of spiritual danger. And I hear this rising strongly in my spirit. I am inviting you to partner with what heaven is doing here. When you sow through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you become a bearer of light in a world filled with hidden shadows. Your giving becomes oil that fuels deliverance, clarity, and awakening for countless others. And to every faithful giver, may uncommon favor fall upon your house, may hidden enemies be exposed, and may God multiply your seed with supernatural acceleration. This is your moment. Step into it with power. Beloved soul chosen for higher clarity, as you enter this next dimension of revelation, Archangel Michael stands with an intensity unlike anything you have felt so far. His wings are spread wide, forming a barrier of truth around you, and the atmosphere shifts again, denser, quieter, as if heaven itself is holding its breath. This is not just another message. This is the moment where the unseen patterns, the hidden clues, and the quiet warnings merge into a single, unmistakable realization. You are standing at the edge of the identity you have been sensing but have not yet seen in full. You may not realize this yet, but your spirit has already been whispering to you. It has been nudging you towards certain memory, certain interaction, certain name. Not loudly but consistently. Every time your heart tightened without explanation, every time a conversation left you strangely depleted, every time your intuition reacted even though nothing obvious happened, your spirit was identifying the very person heaven is now bringing into the light. Archangel Michael shows a powerful image, a circle of light surrounding you, and outside that circle stands a figure who was once close but now appears distant, blurred, fading. Their energy cannot withstand the illumination of truth. Their intentions cannot survive the presence of divine clarity. The moment heaven reveals the name, their influence will collapse like a shadow dissolving in sunrise. You must understand the spiritual importance of this moment. This person's intentions were never strong enough to destroy you, but they were strong enough to distract you. Their energy was heavy enough to slow your progress. Their doubts were sharp enough to pierce your confidence. Their envy was subtle enough to go unnoticed, yet powerful enough to affect your spirit. But all of this ends now. Heaven is reclaiming the space around you. Archangel Michael is reclaiming the energy that was quietly drained. Your spirit is reclaiming the clarity it lost while trying to love someone who did not know how to love you honestly. Think back, beloved, to the times when you achieved something beautiful, an answered prayer, a breakthrough, a moment of growth, and instead of celebrating you, this person acted strangely muted. They celebrated, but it felt mechanical. They smiled, but their eyes dimmed. They listened, but their energy pulled away. You may have blamed yourself for being sensitive, but your spirit was detecting truth long before your mind could interpret it. There was another moment, equally important, when you needed support, encouragement, or even simple presence, and they were nowhere to be found. Not because they were busy, not because they didn't care at all, but because your vulnerability made them uncomfortable. When you needed their strength, they offered distance. When you needed reassurance, they offered silence. When you needed partnership, they offered absence. This absence was a sign. Heaven is bringing that sign back to your remembrance because it was the moment their heart disconnected from yours. Archangel Michael reveals that this person sees your destiny more clearly than they see their own. That is one of the reasons they reacted with internal conflict. Your light exposes their unhealed wounds. Your growth threatens their sense of identity. Your calling brings out the parts of themselves they tried to ignore. Instead of rising with you, they turned their discomfort inward and then outward, toward you. This is why their energy became unpredictable. This is why their tone shifted from gentle to sarcastic. This is why they began offering advice so in doubt rather than belief. This is why they pulled back emotionally but stayed physically present. They were torn between wanting your presence and resenting your potential. They were conflicted between caring about you and envying the grace on your life. They were divided between supporting you and wanting to surpass you. Heaven saw this division grow into harmful intention, not in action, but in energy. Not in violence, but in subtle sabotage. Now Archangel Michael approaches with a message that carries weight. The identity is not a stranger. This person is someone you once trusted, someone you allowed close, someone you assumed had your best interests at heart. Their familiarity is what made their hidden intentions dangerous, but their familiarity is also what makes their exposure unavoidable. Heaven cannot allow someone with such access to your life to continue operating in deception. Your spirit is now aligning with truth, and as that alignment strengthens, you may notice a sudden clarity when their name rises in your thoughts. You may feel a quiet knowing settle in your heart. That is the holy confirmation. Your spirit is quicker than your mind. It already knows. Archangel Michael is simply bringing that knowing into conscious awareness. The next unfolding will bring you even closer, so close that you will feel the weight of recognition before the name is confirmed. Do not fear this process. It is sacred. It is cleansing. It is freeing. Heaven would never reveal what you are not ready to handle. And beloved, you are ready. Stay with this message. What comes next will draw a clear line between the truth and what you once believed. The identity is rising. It will not stay hidden much longer. Type I align with heaven's truth in the comments to prepare your spirit. Blessing code 7447 has now been activated. Beloved child of awakening, as this sacred revelation moves deeper into your spirit, Archangel Michael steps closer with a calm that carries undeniable authority. His presence wraps around you like a mantle of light, steadying your heart and sharpening your inner vision. You are now in the most delicate stage of truth, the moment just before full recognition. Everything you have sensed, everything heaven has hinted at, everything your intuition has been trying to show you is converging into one clear realization. You may notice that your mind feels different right now. Not overwhelmed, but alert. Not confused, but curious. Not anxious, but prepared. This is the spiritual alignment heaven orchestrates when truth is about to be revealed. Because heaven will never allow you to face clarity without the strength to hold it. Archangel Michael has been preparing you part by part, layer by layer, moment by moment. And now, you are standing on the threshold of understanding the identity of the one whose hidden intentions collided with your destiny. There is something Archangel Michael reveals now that is crucial to your awareness. The one who quietly wished harm upon you is someone who once mirrored your dreams. Someone who walked beside you not just physically, but emotionally. Someone whose presence felt familiar for so long that you never questioned their intentions. Familiarity can blind even the most discerning spirit, and heaven knows this. That is why your spirit began nudging you through subtle discomfort long before you could consciously interpret what was wrong. Think back to that period when your energy felt heavy for no reason. You woke up tired, even though nothing was wrong. You felt mentally foggy around certain people without understanding why. Your inner peace wavered in ways you could not explain. That heaviness was not random. It was spiritual interference. Archangel Michael was absorbing what you could not see. But even so, fragments of that energy reached your spirit because of this person's proximity to you. Every time you shared your joy, they offered lukewarm enthusiasm. Every time you shared a dream, they offered reasons it might fail. Every time you walked in confidence, they increased their subtle criticism. And every time you began stepping into your purpose, something about their presence dimmed your momentum. None of this was accidental. All of it was energetic. Their inner conflict expressed itself through their behavior, even when they didn't admit it, even to themselves. Archangel Michael reveals a powerful truth here. This person saw your potential more clearly than you did. And instead of lifting you, they feared being left behind. In fear, a heart can twist itself into resentment. In resentment, a heart can begin to wish for delay, not destruction, but delay. Delay to keep you reachable. Delay to keep you dependent. Delay to keep you within their emotional orbit. Your success, your healing, your elevation, all of it challenged them. Not because you did anything wrong, but because your rise highlighted their stagnation. Heaven is firm about this. No one who resents your growth is meant to be part of your growth. No one who fears your elevation is meant to witness your elevation. No one who envies your calling is meant to stand beside your calling. This is why the revelation must happen now. Your elevation is accelerating. Your atmosphere is shifting. Your destiny is unfolding. And this person's energy is no longer compatible with your spiritual trajectory. Now, Archangel Michael brings your attention to the most telling sign you've experienced. A moment where this person's mask slipped entirely. It may have been a sudden outburst they quickly retracted. It may have been a facial expression that revealed too much. It may have been a strange reaction to your breakthrough. It may have been a moment where they discouraged you with a tone that felt unusually sharp. Your spirit felt the truth before your mind caught it. Your intuition reacted. Your heart paused. Something inside you said, that was not love. That moment was heaven highlighting the identity for you, even if you were not ready to accept it then. But now, beloved, you are ready. You have grown wiser. You have grown stronger. You have grown spiritually sharper. You are no longer the version of yourself who ignored intuition for the sake of comfort. The identity is rising, pressing against the edge of your awareness. You may feel a name forming in your mind even as you read this. You may feel a sudden heaviness when a particular face comes to mind. You may feel a wave of confirmation when a memory resurfaces. This is not coincidence. This is revelation. Heaven is synchronizing your intuition with divine truth. But there is something profound you must hear before we move into the next unveiling. This revelation is not about hatred. It is about protection. It is not about losing someone. It is about gaining clarity. It is not about blame. It is about release. Heaven is not showing you the identity so you can confront them. Heaven is showing you the identity so you can detach from them. Because attachment was the doorway through which their intentions affected you. Awareness closes the door permanently. You are closer than ever. The next unfolding will bring you into the clearest moment yet. The moment where the name becomes undeniable, not through accusation, but through recognition. Hold steady and remain with me. What comes next will connect every experience, every sign, every instinct into a single moment of unmistakable truth. The revelation is almost complete. Type "I stand in holy discernment" in the comments to anchor this clarity. Blessing code 8778 hath been released. Beloved soul, guided by heaven's hand, as you step into this next sacred unveiling, Archangel Michael draws even nearer, and the air around your spirit becomes still, almost reverent, as though all of creation is preparing for the moment you finally see what has been hidden for far too long. This is the stage where truth no longer whispers. It begins to speak. It begins to rise like a tide that cannot be held back. Your spirit is ready now in a way it wasn't before. You are not the same person you were at the beginning of this message. You are stronger, clearer, more aligned, and more receptive to divine revelation. Archangel Michael shows an image of you standing at a crossroads, and behind you lies a path filled with confusion, subtle pain, and emotional imbalance, much of which was caused by the person heaven is revealing. Before you lies a new road, straight and illuminated, where burdens fall off and divine clarity becomes your constant companion. You cannot step into that new path carrying the weight of someone who was never meant to walk into your future. And so, heaven prepares you for the revelation that separates past entanglement from future elevation. There is something important Archangel Michael wants you to understand now. The person whose identity is rising into your awareness is not someone who hurt you loudly. They hurt you quietly. Their heart was not in what they did, but in what they withheld. They withheld genuine support. They withheld authentic joy for your victories. They withheld the honesty you deserve. They withheld the stability you offered them freely. Your absence during your moments of need spoke louder than their presence in moments of convenience. You may begin remembering all the times they responded to your dreams with discouragement disguised as practicality. You may recall moments where they subtly compared themselves to you or tried to make you doubt your own potential. You may realize how many times you left conversations with them feeling drained, confused, or strangely diminished. These were not emotional accidents. These were spiritual indicators. Heaven was signaling that their intentions were no longer aligned with your destiny. Archangel Michael reveals something deeper. Their envy did not grow overnight. It grew slowly as they watched you rise. Every time you overcame something they expected you to fail at, their insecurity deepened. Every time God opened a new door for you, they felt themselves standing still. Instead of being inspired, they felt threatened. Instead of celebrating you, they questioned why things were happening for you and not for them. They compared themselves to you relentlessly, though they hid it well. This comparison became the soil where resentment took root. And resentment, when hidden, turns into subtle sabotage. Your sabotage was not a grand act. It was small, consistent, and energetic. It showed up in their tone, their hesitation, their distance, their lack of enthusiasm, their sudden mood shifts. It showed up in the strange drop in your confidence after speaking with them. It showed up in the way your dreams felt more fragile when they were around. Their presence did not build you. It weakened you. And heaven refuses to let anyone weaken a chosen vessel. You may have tried to justify their behavior. You may have said they were stressed. You may have assumed they were struggling. You may have tried to help them, comfort them, carry them, uplift them. But beloved, here is the truth. You cannot heal someone who resents your strength. You cannot lift someone who secretly hopes you do not outgrow them. You cannot love someone into wholeness when their heart is conflicted about your rising. Archangel Michael says with certainty, the identity coming into your awareness is someone your spirit has been warning you about repeatedly. You may have felt sudden irritation around them. You may have sensed distance where closeness used to be. You may have noticed shifts in their behavior you could not explain. These were not random. These were spiritual revelations blooming beneath the surface of your emotions. Now your spirit stands in full readiness. The name you are sensing is no longer a guess. It is recognition. Heaven is not revealing the identity to cause fear, anger, or division. Heaven is revealing it so you can detach your energy, reclaim your peace, and step into your next season with clarity and strength. Something powerful is happening within you right now. Your energy is recalibrating. Your intuition is sharpening. Your emotional field is clearing. The fog that once surrounded this person is fading. Their influence over your spirit is dissolving. You may feel a strange emotional release as the truth settles, relief mixed with sadness, clarity mixed with calm. This is completely natural. It is the feeling of spiritual cords being cut. It is the feeling of your heart stepping out of entanglement. It is the feeling of heaven repositioning you for elevation. Archangel Michael assures you, you will not remain in confusion. You will not remain blind. You will not remain vulnerable to hidden intentions. In the next unfolding, the revelation will crystallize. You will see the identity with such clarity that you will no longer question your intuition. Everything will click. Every moment of confusion will subtly make sense. Every emotional shift will find its explanation. You are closer than ever. The next part brings the final, undeniable illumination. Stay deeply present now. What comes next is the clearest moment of truth you have awaited since this message began. Your spirit will recognize the name before your mind completes the thought. Type "I am ready for full revelation" in the comments to open your spirit. Blessing code 9009 has been released. Beloved soul standing at the edge of revelation, this is the moment everything has been leading toward. Archangel Michael steps before you with a radiance so powerful that every shadow around your spirit is forced into retreat. The atmosphere around you becomes charged, illuminated, and undeniably clear. You have walked with me through every layer of discernment, every whisper of intuition, every spiritual signal that heaven placed along your path. And now, at last, the unveiling reaches its peak. The identity of the one who wished harm upon you can no longer remain hidden. Before the name rises fully into your awareness, Archangel Michael wants you to see something essential. You were never weak. You were never naive. You were never blind. Your heart was open. Your intentions were pure. Your spirit was generous. And these qualities are not flaws. They are the reason heaven protects you so fiercely. The mistake was not trusting the wrong person. The mistake would have been ignoring the divine revelation when God said, "Enough." And you did not ignore it. You followed the signs. You listened to your intuition. You allowed heaven to speak. That alone proves how spiritually mature you have become. Now the truth begins forming clearly. This person was someone you granted deep access to. Someone whose opinion mattered to you. Someone whose presence felt natural for a long time. They were not an enemy from afar. They were a familiar spirit standing too close. They watched your growth not with celebration, but with discomfort. They heard your dreams not with admiration, but with internal conflict. They stood beside you, but their hearts stood against what heaven was doing within you. Think of the moments when you confided in them. Moments when you shared your breakthroughs, your hopes, your vision for the future. Instead of uplifting you, they planted seeds of doubt, soft enough to sound like caution, subtle enough to sound reasonable, but sharp enough to pierce your momentum. This was not guidance. This was disguised sabotage. Archangel Michael reveals that every time you took 2 steps forward, their energy quietly pushed you 1 step back. not because they hated you, but because they feared being overshadowed by you. Now feel this next truth deeply. The reason their identity is being exposed now is because you are stepping into a divine season where delay can no longer accompany you. You are entering an elevation so swift, so purposeful, so spiritually charged that anyone with hidden resentment would suffocate your progress. Heaven will not allow that. Archangel Michael has declared your path protected, and protection always begins with exposure. Your spirit already knows the name. It has been rising in your thoughts throughout the last parts of this message. You may have tried to dismiss it. You may have felt shocked by it. You may have hoped it wasn't true. But your intuition is speaking, and heaven is confirming. The one who wished harm upon you is the very person whose presence made you feel strangely small. They acted warm, but something in their energy was cold. They offered support, but something in their spirit withheld it. They listened to your victories, but something in them dimmed every time you shined. This is the truth Archangel Michael has prepared you to receive. The person who wished harm upon you is the one whose behavior most often left you feeling confused. The one who shifted unpredictably. The one who drained your spirit while pretending to pour into you. The one your soul felt uneasy around even when your heart still cared. Their identity is not a mystery anymore. Your spirit recognizes them now. Your heart understands. Your intuition confirms. Heaven does not need to speak the name out loud, because revelation happens internally, not externally. The power of this moment lies in your recognition, not in the pronunciation of a name. That is why Archangel Michael brought you all the way to this final chapter, so the truth would rise inside you with certainty rather than shock. You know who it is. You can feel it. The recognition is complete. Now hear this with the deepest part of your being. Their power over your emotions ends today. Their influence over your spirit ends now. Their ability to drain you, confuse you, or delay you has expired. Archangel Michael stands behind you, cutting the final spiritual cord that tied your energy to theirs. This release may feel like sudden clarity, sudden calm, or sudden heaviness lifting off your chest. Whatever you feel, know this: it is freedom. Pure, divine freedom. With this clarity, the path before you opens wide. New opportunities begin moving toward you. New relationships form around you. New blessings attach themselves to your journey. Heaven says your elevation will now accelerate. Your purpose will now strengthen. Your intuition will now sharpen. Your peace will now expand. Your confidence will return stronger than ever. And beloved, you will never again be misled by a familiar spirit disguised as a friend. Your discernment has matured. Your spiritual sensitivity has awakened. You walk forward wiser, lighter, and divinely protected. Stay present for one final breath. Everything that comes after this moment will feel different, clearer, aligned. You will thank yourself for receiving this revelation fully. Now uplift this message and help it reach those who need this same protection. Like, share, comment, hype this video, and subscribe so heaven's guidance never misses you. Type "I am free and divinely protected" in the comments to seal this revelation. Blessing code 1212 is now released. Beloved, as this revelation settles over your spirit, hear this as a divine invitation. When you support this mission, you are not contributing to a platform. You are fueling a movement that protects souls, awakens discernment, and exposes hidden dangers through the power of God's voice. Heaven uses vessels to deliver clarity, and I hear this in my spirit boldly. I am inviting you to stand with this mission. When you sow through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, your seed becomes a prophetic act, one that breaks chains, opens doors, and ignites discernment in countless lives. May every giver be met with overflowing favor, accelerated breakthroughs, and divine protection that never sleeps. Step forward, beloved, and release your support with authority, knowing heaven multiplies what is sown in truth